Dear learners, I am Dr. Shweta Tripathi, Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering, School of Engineering and Technology, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. I welcome you all in the MOOCs of Energy Resources and Conversion Process. In this module, we are going to discuss biogas. We had already discussed biomass, the conversion techniques that are used to convert biomass, and in this we are going to discuss biogas. After going through this module, you will be able to know the source of biomass that could be used for biogas production. You will learn the processes that are involved in biogas production. You will be able to calculate the yield of biogas. You will understand the characteristics of biogas and will be able to identify the advantages and limitations of biogas. More than 2 billion people cannot access affordable energy services based on efficient use of conventional energy sources that are fossil fuels, coal, gas, oil, and electricity. Without access to energy, their opportunities for economic development and improved living standards are heavily constrained. This is not only the case in India, this is the case for all the developing countries. Due to the wide disparities in urban areas and rural areas in accessing the affordable commercial energy and energy services create a huge gap in human development and threaten social stability. The decentralized small-scale energy technologies can play a vital role to reduce this gap, and it also becomes an important element of successful poverty alleviation. Another serious issue of this energy is the environmental impact on human health. The human health is threatened by high levels of pollution resulting from particular type of energy use at the household, community, and regional levels. What are the major changes? Major changes that are required in energy system development worldwide are due to the emission of greenhouse gases, mostly from the production and use of conventional energy. These emissions are altering the atmosphere, resulting in adverse effect of the regional or global climatic patterns. Finding ways to expand energy supplies while simultaneously addressing the environmental impacts associated with conventional energy use represents a critical challenge to humanity. What is the effect of energy in environment and health? The resources and technology options that are available to meet these challenges are identified as energy efficiency, renewable energy sources, and advanced energy technologies. And the relation between energy and social issues is related to address the energy needs of the majority of rural people, especially the poor ones who could not pay for the energy that is available commercially. A large majority of rural masses have very low ability to pay for energy in our country and require major structural changes. The productivity and income generating potential of a family is highly dependent on the availability of convenient and affordable energy. The contribution of supply of affordable energy can help families and communities break out of the cycle of poverty. The economic levels of villages can be increased by more energy inputs in agricultural sector, such as increase in irrigated land area and by reducing the inputs of chemical fertilizers, which can be replaced by fertilizers such as biogas, manure. So the biogas is very important to make our villages reliant on the energy, self-reliant. The human health and quality of life always have close relationship with energy consumption and its clean production. The energy potential for enhancing human well-being is unquestionable. Therefore, the realization of absolute link between meeting the needs of rural areas, economic growth and energy security, dispersed resources like dung, etc. can make the energy system more reliable and sustainable. On the other hand, in developing countries, most of the inhabitants in rural areas are dependent on dung and organic residue as fuel for cooking and heating. Such is the case, for example, in the treeless regions of India, for example, the Ganges Plain, Central Highlands. And it is not only limited to India, the same condition is of Nepal and other countries of Asia as well. So the burning of dung, plant residue, even wood is a considerable waste of plant nutrients. Burning wood is not at all a good or wise decision to do. Other than land, labor, capital and water, energy and manure has also become the most crucial factor for economic and social growth of villages. The efforts has to be made in this direction to create self-reliant villages in terms of energy, and the byproduct will be manure production by biomethanation technologies, local resources like cow dung, waste from the agricultural lands, waste from the agriculture, waste from the kitchens will be utilized there. This effort would provide a firm basis for the economic and social development and long-term sustainability as well. As we had already discussed in our previous modules, that biomass is the world's fourth energy source and its usage is widespread in both industrial areas and in developing countries. The majority is used to provide heat worldwide, 15 petawatt-hour as thermal energy and about 150 terawatt-hour electricity. 15% and 1% of world total energy consumption. It means that 15% of thermal energy and 1% of electricity all over the world is provided by the biomass. The major resources which can be used for biogas production are animal manure, poultry waste, pig waste, night soil, municipal organic waste, agricultural residues, forest residues, aquatic plants like water syn, organic waste water from industries, either food processing, milk processing, meat processing, etc., hotels and restaurants, sanitary landfills. All these products or all these resources are generally the organic waste. So what we need a product that is organic in nature. It could be waste because we are going to utilize waste. We are going to generate energy from the waste. Biogas. What is biogas? The biogas is a technology that refers to the production of a combustible gas, which is known as biogas, and a value-added fertilizer also, which is called slurry or sludge. And the process that is used to produce this biogas is by the anaerobic fermentation of organic materials under certain controlled conditions. The byproducts of anaerobic digestion of organic materials are commonly referred to as biogas because of the biological nature of the gas production. Because this gas is produced biological, so we are calling it as biogas. It is produced by microbial activities and can be used only at the place where it is produced. Though we are developing the biogas bottling plants as well, and we are transferring and transporting this biogas in cylinders as well. But for that, what we need, we are going to purify that gas and are using it for the transportation sector. The best utilization of biogas at least price is to use it at the place where it is produced. The transportation cost associated with the biogas, either in bottling plant or something else, is more. And what are the main constituents of this biogas? Biogas consists of about 55 to 65% of methane, CH4, 30 to 45% of carbon dioxide, some traces of hydrogen sulfide are there, and a fraction of water vapor is there. Due to the presence of this water vapor, the calorific value of biogas is somewhat lower. What is the process of production of biogas? There are different pathways of biomethanation process which are suggested by several investigators. Macro level energy conversion of organic waste is discussed here, and what happens in this process of conversion of energy from organic mass is mainly utilized in cell synthesis and formation of methane and carbon dioxide, besides some part of it remains in the effluent. This process of biomethanation consists of three processes. First is hydrolysis. In this hydrolysis, saprophytic bacteria converts complex organic compounds into less complex organic compounds which are water soluble. Hydrolysis is the first step in this anaerobic degradation and also the rate limiting step. From here we can determine what is the rate of production. The hydrolysis of organic polymers such as polysaccharides, fats and proteins converts these polymers into smaller units such as sugars, long chain fatty acids and amino acids. This group of bacteria called as facultative anaerobes or microbes. Then the second process is acetogenesis. In this process, the sugars or long chain fatty acids and amino acids resulting from hydrolysis are used as substrates by a wide variety of bacterial generation of different fermentative organisms or by anaerobic oxidizers. The complex organic matters in liquid phase digestion convert the small water soluble molecules by fermentation into acetate, carbon dioxide and hydrogen. The acid forming bacteria also converts the intermediate products to acetic acid, carbon dioxide and hydrogen. Then acid formation. Acid forming bacteria degrades organic compounds to volatile fatty acids and ammonia. Then the last step is methane formation. In methane formation, methane forming bacteria utilizes these acids to form methane. Acetate, carbon dioxide and molecular hydrogen can be directly utilized as a substrate by the group of anaerobic microorganisms called methanegenesis or methane forming bacteria. Methane can be synthesized via two different pathways, of which one involves acetate and the other involves molecular hydrogen. The estimations indicated that about 70% of the methane is produced from the acetate and 30% comes from the hydrogen. The volatile fatty acids accumulation is to be avoided in the digester to produce the high gas content. Then the stoichiometric calculation of the biogas yield and composition. As this biomethanation process is carried out by the symbiotic action of methane and acid producing bacteria, The interrelated behaviors of all classes of bacteria create the environment for each other to survive and grow simultaneously. The estimation of biogas production from the organic waste materials may be done on the basis of stoichiometric equation of the conversion process. The simple equation is considered by Ghale and Ramkumar for calculations of the theoretical yield of methane and carbon dioxide, which is biogas, and is produced by anaerobic digestion using Buswell's formula. We consider this organic compound as CnHAOB, and when it reacts with H2O, how many moles of H2O will be there? We have to calculate it on the basis of N. N is number of carbon atoms. So the moles of water will be 4n minus A minus 2B. 4n, where N is number of carbons, H is hydrogen, and O is oxygen. B is prefix for oxygen. 4n minus A minus 2B. Suppose if we have C6H12O11, then N is 6, A is 12, O is 11. So 4n minus A minus 2B, and what it will give? It will give 4n plus A minus 2B, and whole will be divided by 8. This mole of CH4 we are going to get, and 4n minus A plus 2B divided by 8, whole divided by 8, this mole of CO2 we are going to get. Means equal mole of CH4 and CO2 we are going to get. Vaseroglou has given the formula for the biogas production from organic substances which are not containing sulfur materials and can be written as CaHbOcND plus H2O. Here number of moles for H2O will be 4A minus B minus 2C plus 3D, and whole will be divided by 4. That means 1/4 of 4A minus B minus 2C plus 3D. And we are going to get methane, carbon dioxide and ammonia as well. So methane will be 1/8 of 4A plus B minus 2C minus 3D, and carbon dioxide will be 1/8 of 4A minus B plus 2C plus 3D, and we will get D moles of NH3. The formula for the conversion of organic substance in an aqueous environment into CH4 and CO2 and into ammonia and hydrogen sulfide is given by Boyle in 1996. If nitrogen and sulfur are contained in the substrates, and this formula will be the CnHAOB NCSD, S is sulfur, N is nitrogen, and we are going to react it with how many moles of water? 1/8 of 4n minus A minus 2B plus 3C plus 2D, and we will get CO2 how many moles? 1/8 of 4n minus A plus 2B plus 3C plus 2D, and we are going to get CH4 how many moles? 1/8 of 4n plus A minus 2B minus 3C minus 2D, and ammonia C moles of ammonia and D moles of hydrogen sulfide. It is interesting to note that any organic matter will generate biogas, and this CnHAOB NCSD is mainly the organic compound which consists of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur, and N, A, B, C and D are their numbers. For example, in CO2, carbon is 1 and oxygen is 2. So similarly in methane, carbon is 1, hydrogen is 4. In glucose, C6H12, So what will happen? Carbon is 6, H is 12, O is 11. So similarly, we will get the number of N, A, B, C, D, whatever, on the basis of the organic compound that we are going to use. And how we are going to get these numbers and values of N, A, B, C, D? We are going to get it by proximate analysis or ultimate analysis. Though every organic matter will generate biogas, but the higher the energy of the material, the more biogas they will create. For example, deep fryer oil can generate about 60 times as much biogas as cow dung for any system. So it will depend upon the energy content of that particular material that we are going to use as organic waste. For biogas, we can use waste like cow dung, poultry, slurry, pig manure and other crop residue. And these all have the following biogas composition: methane about 50 to 60%, carbon dioxide 38 to 45%, and trace components 2%. It could be hydrogen, hydrogen sulfide, non-methane volatile organic, etc. The commonly used fuels that we are going to use in transportation sector or as a fuel in boiler are biogas, dung cake, firewood, diesel, kerosene. And if we compare their calorific value and thermal efficiency, we will find that biogas is having 4000 to 5000 kilocalorie per meter cube calorific value, while diesel is having 10,550 kilocalorie per kg. The thermal efficiency for biogas is 55 to 60%, while for diesel it is 60 to 70%. So we can see that if we compare biogas with other fuels, it is at par. We will find it at par. While if we see the calorific value for dung cake, it is only 1900 to 2100 kilocalorie. What will be the thermal efficiency? 5 to 11% only. Firewood 2100 to 4300 kilocalorie per kg. Thermal efficiency will be low, 15 to 20%. So we can see that this biogas is at par with all the other fuels. What are the properties of this biogas? It is a mixture of different components and the composition varies depending upon the characteristics of feed material. Feed material is the type of waste that we are going to use for the production of biogas. Amount of degradation, etc. Biogas predominantly consists of 50 to 70% of methane, 30 to 40% of carbon dioxide, and low amount of other gases. Methane is a combustible gas. The energy content of biogas depends on the amount of methane it contains. Methane content varies from about 50% to 70%. The interest in biogas as an alternative fuel comes mainly from its clean burning qualities and its domestic resource base. Because of the gaseous nature of this fuel, it must be stored on board a vehicle in either a compressed form like CNG at 200 to 400 atmospheric pressure or a liquefied form like liquefied natural gas LNG at typically 1.4 to 10 atmosphere. It is produced in biogas plants or landfill sites, is primarily composed of methane and carbon dioxide with smaller amounts of hydrogen sulfide and ammonia. Trace amounts of other gases like hydrogen, nitrogen or carbon monoxide are also present in the biogas. Usually the mixed air is saturated and water vapor and may contain dust particles as well. The characteristics of biogas are somewhere comparable with natural gas. The energy content is defined by the concentration of methane. 10% of methane in the dry gas corresponds approximately to 1 kWh per meter cube. For biogas as a fuel, most of the impurities have to be removed because they may cause corrosion, deposits and damage the equipment. Substances such as hydrogen sulfide, water, carbon dioxide, halogen compounds like chlorides, fluoride, siloxanes, aromatic compounds, air, oxygen and nitrogen needs to be removed. For the use of biogas in ordinary auto engines, that is petrol engines, biogas must be upgraded to contain at least 85% methane and 14% nitrogen. This is the minimum fuel quality for which the natural gas fuel vehicles are approved. It is also important that the gas quality is maintained at a fixed composition in order to prevent an increased NOx emission. Purification of biogas is primarily achieved by carbon dioxide removal. This enhances the energy value of the gas and it will help to increase the calorific value. Like those of any pure gas, the characteristic properties of biogas are pressure and temperature dependent. If we talk about their characteristic properties, they are fully dependent upon the temperature and pressure and moisture content as well. The factors of main interest are change in volume as a function of temperature and pressure, change in calorific value as a function of temperature, pressure, and the calorific value or energy content also depends upon the moisture content. So here water vapor content will also come. So change in calorific value as a function of temperature, pressure and water vapor content. And change in water vapor content is again the function of temperature and pressure. The calorific value of biogas is about, if we talk about kilowatt hour, then it is near about 6 kilowatt hour per meter cube and it corresponds to about half a liter of diesel oil. The net calorific value depends on the efficiency of the burners or the appliances where we are going to use it. Methane is a valuable component under the aspect of using biogas as a fuel. Now comes the efficiency of biogas production. The efficiency of biogas production is measured in terms of yield as a fraction of the theoretical yields of gas. The biogas production per kg of raw material may be a good indicator for performance of digester. The efficiency of plants can also be measured on the basis of gas production per unit reduction in total solids, volatile solids, chemical oxygen demand or biological oxygen demand. The total solids and volatile solids are normally used to measure the efficiency as biomass is a solid material. The efficiency of the biogas production depends on the retention time, that is percentage of daily input of biomass related to total volume. So the efficiency of biogas production depends on the retention time and retention time is percentage of daily input of biomass that is related to the total volume. Now comes the efficiency of biogas production. Normally the efficiency can be expected around 60%. The biogas production also depends on the biological oxygen demand in the wastewater. The biological oxygen demand reduction will generate 0.8 meter cube of biogas each kg of BOD removal. Adding water with low BOD from the end of the anaerobic process will dilute the high inlet biological oxygen demand and improve the biogas process. What are the benefits of biogas? The cooking in rural areas is still largely depending on the use of traditional cook stoves, which we call chula, and generally we are burning dung cake, firewood, agricultural waste in addition to kerosene up to some extent. So the installation of biogas plants would directly replace the use of above three, and in saving them, following gains would be made: reduction in pollution due to burning of dung and other biomass materials. Dung can be conserved if biogas plants are used. Again, the dung after digestion in gas plant preserves more of nitrogen, phosphorus and potash. The rural people would not be dependent on wood, which is used for cooking. The deforestation and ecological imbalances can be reduced. In rural areas, instead of kerosene, the biogas can be used for lighting. This would reduce the dependence on fossil fuel directly and in saving foreign exchange. The most important benefit would be in keeping the clean in habitation and environment. The human beings can be saved from bacterial infections and other insects. The combustion of biogas produces carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas. The carbon in biogas comes from plant matter that fixed this carbon from atmospheric carbon dioxide. Thus, biogas production is a carbon neutral and does not add to greenhouse gas emissions. Further, any consumption of fossil fuels replaced by biogas will lower carbon dioxide emissions. Nevertheless, there is a huge potential for biogas as the alternative and renewable fuel. In densely populated areas, the effect of reduced emission from transportation brings a higher environmental effect than production of electricity. The main obstacle in biogas production as the alternative fuel are high cost upgrading equipment, which is too expensive for small scale systems. Some other limitations are: first, that we already discussed, few technological advancements. An unfortunate disadvantage of biogas today is that the systems used in production of biogas are not efficient. There are no new technologies yet to simplify the process and make it abundant and low cost. This means large-scale production to supply for a large population is still not possible. Although the biogas plants available today are able to meet some energy needs, many governments are not willing to invest in this sector. It contains impurities. After refinement and compression, biogas still contains impurities. If the generated biofuel was utilized to power automobiles, it can corrode the metal parts of the engine. This corrosion would lead to increased maintenance cost. The gaseous mix is much more suitable for kitchen stoves, water boilers, and lamps. Then, effect of temperatures on biogas production. Like other renewable energy sources, for example solar, wind, the biogas generation is affected by weather. The optimal temperature bacteria need to digest waste is around 37 degrees centigrade, whereas in cold climates, digesters require heat energy to maintain a constant biogas supply. It is less suitable for dense metropolitan areas. Another disadvantage is that industrial biogas plants only make sense where raw materials are in plentiful supply, food waste, manure, etc. For this reason, biogas generation is much more suitable for rural and suburban areas. So these are the certain limitations for the application of these biogas technologies. Let us summarize this module. In this module, we have discussed that biogas originates from bacteria in the process of biodegradation of organic material under anaerobic condition. Anaerobic means without air. The natural generation of biogas is an important part of the biogeochemical carbon cycle. We discussed methanogenesis. We have discussed that the gases methane, hydrogen, and carbon monoxide can be combusted or oxidized with oxygen. Air contains 21% of oxygen. This energy release allows biogas to be used as a fuel. We had also discussed that the biogas is generated and is a source of renewable energy. We had also discussed that biogas can be used as a low-cost fuel in any country for any heating purpose such as cooking. It can also be utilized in modern waste management facilities where it can be used to run any type of heat engine to generate either mechanical or electrical power. We had also discussed that it is a renewable fuel and electricity produced from it can be used to attract renewable energy subsidies in some parts of the world. We had discussed that biogas is equivalent to different fuels. 1 kg of firewood is equal to 0.2 meter cube of biogas. 1 liter of kerosene is equal to 2.0 meter cube of biogas. 1 kg of dried cow dung is nearly equal to 0.1 meter cube of biogas. In our next module, we will discuss the various types of biogas plants that are used. Thank you very much.